Architecture has a very well-known and distinct style, but Greece has had many evolutions of architecture as time has passed. Every time period that goes by has similarities and differences. During our time in Greece, we realized just how different ancient and modern Greek architecture are.
Ancient Greek art is divided into 5 main sections: the geometric period, Orientalizing period, Archaic period, Classical period, and Hellenistic period. These 5 categories of art refer to the architecture that the Greeks created.
In my opinion, the city in Greece with the best architecture would probably be Sparta, because I really like the Byzantine churches that were on the mountain, and I really liked getting to see all of the history that was in them, and it was very clear that it was preserved very well, and you could really tell like what was going on in that time period.
Along with the division of art periods, there are also 3 specific guidelines or orders for architecture. They are Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian orders.
An example of the Doric order is the Parthenon, the most well-known temple in Greece. It has a very recognizable layout that many other Greek temples replicate. The Parthenon sits on a tall hill called the Acropolis. It is accompanied by the Propylaea, Erechtheion, and the Temple of Athena Nike.
The most surprising part about the Acropolis for me was that the caryatids were replicas. They weren't actually real, and the real ones are in the Acropolis Museum.
In 490 BCE, Athenians began to work on the beautiful piece of art that we know as the Acropolis. Unfortunately, during the Persian War, Xerxes' forces demolished everything atop the Acropolis. 30 years later, Pericles, a statesman, began to work on a new temple using the original foundations and remnants of the debris. Ichnos was the main architect during the rebuilding.
Though the Acropolis seems pretty old, there were actually many civilizations before it was built.
Mycenae is one of the oldest known civilizations in Greece. Many architectural designs of the Mycenaeans have been lost, but many were the basic elements for classical Greek architecture. Something special about the archaeological site of Mycenae is the Lion Gate. The Lion Gate is the entrance to the Mycenaeans' archaeological site. The gate is made up of humongous stones said to be cyclopean. These come from an ancient myth that says only a cyclops could lift the stones. It is called the Lion Gate because there is a sculpture in the relief triangle of 2 creatures. Many people believe them to be lions, but the heads are missing, so they could be anything.
There were also a few civilizations that came after the building of the Acropolis. An example is the Byzantine Empire.
Byzantine architecture first appeared when Romans dominated all of Greece, and when Constantine became emperor in 312 Common Era, making the main religion in Rome Christianity. Byzantine architecture is mostly church architecture that features round arches and domes, including a simple exterior and thoroughly decorated interior. Another thing that pinpoints Byzantine architecture are the red tile roofs.
Now that we have gone over the ancient architecture, we will make our way to current day to discuss the architecture we saw during our visit in Greece. Athens is by far the most crowded place we visited. It is like the downtown of Greece. There are many apartment and hotel buildings that create lots of alleyways. And unlike ancient Greece, these buildings are made of modern materials that are used to build buildings all over the world. We were surprised to see all the graffiti that decorated Athens. Though it is illegal, artists say it is very hard to get caught. Once you get out of the super populated parts of the city, you will find yourself in a more peaceful part of town, by the nice restaurants and stores. When you go beyond that, you will find yourself by the museums and the Acropolis. This is where you can find most of the tourists. The museums are very modern and reminded us of museums you can find in the US.
When most people think of a building from out of the country, they tend to think they would look stranger than what they are used to. But everything was pretty normal. The restaurants were very classy and had amazing food. The hotels were pretty modern, but the bathrooms in the hotels were very small. Imagine a 3x3 foot square cut in half. That is how big the showers were. We also found out that many public bathrooms were for males and females. Everyone was kind of weirded out.
After getting out of Athens, we traveled to Nafplio. This was almost everyone's favorite town we visited. It was a very family-friendly town and was village-like. All the other towns that came after, like Olympia and Delphi, were also like this. Lots of colorful buildings with stores and houses that lined the streets. But unlike Athens, there wasn't as much traffic or graffiti.
Greek architecture has come a long way from where it started. While ancient Greece had many temples that followed one of the three orders, modern Greece has buildings that are similar to other developed countries. From ancient to modern, architecture is always changing. Artists from all over the world bring in new ideas and designs that influence the future of architecture. The world of technology allows us to interact with different cultures within seconds. Because of that, it could be anyone to make the next big change in architecture.
Not mama, take me home.